Hello there, fellow CarX racers. So in this video I'm going to go into detail on how to adjust the new Dodge Viper. So this is going to be my vision of the build for this car. So the only thing I did so far is that I bought the sport fuel and put Racing Plus tires. So this is just the stock car, I haven't touched it yet. So I have updated my calculator. So if you take a look now, if you go to the list of the cars, you will see that I have added the Unicorn, the new SRT 5 Viper, and there's also E34 M5 BMW somewhere in there. So to avoid just scrolling through this list, one feature that I didn't mention in my previous video is that you can completely delete this text and type what you need. So I type Viper and the list provides me with the choices containing Viper, so I can just click on the Viper. And one particular thing that you note about this car is that the track width is very large, okay, front and rear. So to compare it to something that you already know, let's take for example Ford GT. Yeah, it will not really show because it has already offsets taken into account, but just believe me when I say that probably the Viper has even the wider track than the Ford GT, because with all the mods Ford GT was around 1.85 m in the track width. The Viper without any body kits is already sitting at really close values, okay, and you will see soon that it will get even crazier. Okay, so let's get back to the game. Okay, so one thing we really need, okay, is that we need this body kit that costs 80 gold coins. I don't remember how they are named. Okay, so just apply this body kit. You don't really have a choice of any parts here besides removing the spoiler. This is not really important. Okay, I'm just going to paint it so it doesn't look completely dull. Wait, where is the standard? Okay, so yeah, let's just, yeah, you can remove the stock livery if you want. I will probably keep it, not big deal. So we are done with this body kit. So if you saw closely, actually it gave you around 15 or 16 centimeters of offset, which is crazy by itself. So now we can head to the tuning shop. Okay, once we're in the tuning shop, I will as usual start from the wheels to the engine. Okay, so I will just put all the best parts and then we'll talk about the gearbox and the engine. Okay, so what did I do? So I put the 18-inch 345 tires, okay, so the widest wheels in 18-inch. I made some kind of staggered setup because I ran a neutral profile and +5 profile on the rear because, well, the car supposedly has it in real life. I increased the pressure to the 3, of course. I made the front track wider, so bear in mind I can actually go nuts and make this track as wide as I can, but I'll just keep this build somewhat pretty, so I'll leave 4 and 0. This will improve the handling anyway. So for the suspension I used all the prototype parts. You don't have to use all the prototype parts, like in suspension this is not mandatory. You can achieve all the needed values, maybe even with Elite, but Ultimate is it's the optimum choice if you don't have a lot of prototype parts laying around. The only problem you will most likely encounter is the braking system, but it's not really such a problem. It's just you won't have like a tiny bit of advantage over people with prototype brakes, but if you know how to brake, this is not really a big deal. You can brake even with the racing brakes, for that matter. So body, I didn't use the weight reduction bug, okay, I don't really like to use it. I put all the prototype parts except for the rear aero. I don't have rear aero in prototype, but it's not even needed, like 45 on the rear is over the top, provided that the weight distribution is very close to the rearward bias. We're not done yet, so this will change. Okay, so the center of gravity is quite high, 53 on the front with the stock engine. This will change, of course. Now, for the gearbox, Okay, I'm not intending to keep it, so there's no advantage in keeping a 6-speed gearbox on such a car. So I already have a lot of gearboxes from the F90 M5 BMW 8-speed, so this is my go-to gearbox. Already have all the prototype parts installed, and I think I already have, yeah, everything set up, so this is my usual ratios. They work pretty much with any engine, they really work well. Like, it's a baseline setup. I know I can draw the graph for the specific engine I'm going to use, but for now this is not really needed. This gearbox will work just fine. Okay, for the differential maybe I will put 35, 0.6 because we will have rearward bias, I guess, and maybe a bit lighter diff. Well, this should do. So yeah, and now for the engine. Okay, let's talk about the engine. The engine is bad. Okay, so if you're building this car supposedly because it has good stats, you're building it for the time attack, this engine is to throw away. First, it gets only worse the farther you go, because you really need to keep it in the in this area. That basically means that you have to use it like a Honda VTEC. You always need to keep it on the highest revs. It doesn't have a lot of revs, by the way, so 8-speed could help with this, but it's not going to ultimately compensate. The second issue is that it has a lot of power from the get-go, so to make it fit in the smaller time attacks such as even C2, C3, C4, you're going to struggle because it has a lot of power and it's naturally aspirated, so there's even no turbine that you can actually downgrade from the turbo pressure on the prototype ECU. So you need to change this engine. What do you change it for? Like, as I said, I already imported a lot of data from this car to my sheet, so let's take a look what I have here. So let's go to the miscellaneous tab, and here we will find the Viper. Okay, so what does the values tell us? So we have the weight, which is crazy, 323 kilograms, the engine itself, so it's a pig. There's no way you can get it to a competitive weight of 100 or something else. The maximum you'll probably get is 300 with all the prototype parts installed. You can see it on my video. And then look what happens with the engine. So this is the engine section, the offsets. X offset is basically how much the engine is switched to the left or right. On all the cars, the engine is most likely centered. It's in a symmetrical position, so it's not going to move left or right. The Y is the position of the engine, is the height of the engine according to the car. Okay, the car center, let's call it like this. And then we have the Z offset. So the Z offset is how much the engine is in the front of the car or in the rear if we are seeing negative values. So in case of Viper engine, and this is also true for the previous gen Viper, the Z offset is crazy, just all the way to the front. Okay, so this is what really gives us this bias of 53% of the body weight over front axle. So we need to change this. So what car could potentially get you enough power and allow you to shave off a lot of weight and have a good tunability, if I can call it like this? So I was thinking about it yesterday when I was tuning this car, and you know what crossed my mind? That why with such a large hood you cannot just stuff an inline 6 in it. And I've looked at it on the internet, of course, and there are builds like this in real life. Like, there's a lot of under hood room, so why wouldn't you fit like an inline 6? So inline 6, let's get back to this sheet. What can we possibly get in inline 6 which has not a lot of power and is tunable to the higher classes and is light? Let's get here, and here we have M3E36. So it has an inline 6 BMW engine, and if you go to the section, you see that the Y offset is lower, more than twice lower than on the Viper, and also the Z offset is not that big. Okay, so this is really a good thing. Another candidate for this swap could also be E46, but it has a higher Z offset and even Y offset, but it's also a viable choice, so this really is up to you. But bear in mind that here you have 244 horsepower, on the E36 you have 193, so this is better overall because and it's also natural aspirated. Both of them are natural aspirated. I don't remember what engine type has the 300ZX, the second gen I suppose, but it has a 6-cylinder, I don't know, inline or V6. It's not really important because it is turbo engine, so you will have some turbo lag, so on the long run I would still prefer E36. So let's go to the shop, take the donor car and put an E36 engine. So here we are. I've just got the E36 engine. Let's get it to the car. And now, by magic, you can see that we have lowered the center of gravity by 4 inches. The center of gravity is displayed in the inches, by the way. And we have switched from 53 front bias to 44, and we're not done yet because the weight of the engine is still far from where it can actually get. So we are in C2 and our car is weighing 1 ton basically, so this is great. I will apply some of the prototype parts. I will not apply all because I don't need all of them. So the goal is to, of course, pick up the ECU, even if you don't have turbo. It's nice to have the whole range. Camshafts, intake manifold if you can afford it. If you cannot afford it, maybe use Racing Elite. And cylinder head and cylinder block. Cylinder block is not that important because even if you go down, you don't really lose much of the good curve shape. Okay, so we are sitting in the C5 already, but this can change. Okay, so let's tinker with it and try to make the graph smoother. Okay, so I don't know what am I building it for. Let's maybe try to squeeze it into the C3 then, so it's more apparent. So if you can see, the prototype intake doesn't give me a lot of benefits, so maybe I could go with the lower end intake, maybe even the red one. It actually works. Yeah, it straightens it just enough. So now we can maybe lower the overall graph. For the C3 should be good. Yeah, and you can actually see that in the C3 we're actually really good. So bear in mind that of course I can lower the weight because I'm with the gas tank. I really like the prototype gas tank, but you can go as low as 966, and I'm not even using T50S, and I'm not using the weight reduction bug, so you can go even lower if you want to. But with this weight distribution, you're not really hurting yourself with this, so I will probably keep it like this. Okay, yes, I think that's... Oh, you can actually go lower on the weight too if you install the exhaust manifold and the exhaust. Possibly the graph will be even better if I just lower it enough. You see, I cannot really go super low too. Maybe. Yeah, I made it a bit lighter. This also can do. This actually is not that bad. So yeah, you can do with this. So now only thing you have to do is to just adjust the final drive. So I get the max speed here first. I will probably stick to 4.4. And yeah, now the last step with this configuration would be just to adjust the suspension. So this suspension, let's just put the values I can already guess. So I'm using 45 degrees, 55 Ackerman, caster angle around 6, degrees. The camber no more than -6. I think, yeah, I think I can do -6 and 2 just to so it fits really good. So the springs and the stiffness is not going to be, I'm not going to touch it for now. So we have the maximum braking force in CarX Street, that's normal. For the brake bias, so we have a lot of weight on the back. I will probably use something like 48 for the back. Then around -3 on the rear, so we just flush, yeah, it should be good. And then we have damper and anti-roll bar time. So let's get back to the to my sheet, and I will transfer all the data to the sheet and see what the calculator tells me. So here you have it. So I will transfer all those adjustments in the game. I will most likely lower the roll gradient a bit more, but this car should be crazy good with this. And now I can go to the game and apply all of it. And so here we are. So the last thing to do is to just that's left to do is to lower the springs. So I will lower it as low as I can while keeping the possibility of the suspension to actually work, because otherwise it will clip through the tarmac. I think I can even maybe increase the profile on the front tires. So now we have a full square setup, front a bit wider than the rear for the stability and a bit more turn-in. And now in the suspension I can even it out. So yeah, you can see that now I can still lower it because we have more weight on the back. So yeah, this is pretty much the setup I would run in the time attacks. So you have not a lot of horsepower, you have nice weight for the competition, you have very good aerodynamics, you also have a very good center of gravity, and you have an amazing like almost meta weight distribution. So yeah, this is pretty much it. This is how I set up my cars. So all this video I was using my calculator sheet. So if you go through the link to this calculator, you will see the whole build. You can also recheck this video for this build, try it out, see how it works. I won't be able to show it to you, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be very good in the time attacks or in racing in general. So thank you for your attention, and bye bye.